Hey, cheers, everybody. Good evening, good afternoon, good morning, depending upon where you are. Glad to have you all here. Been a minute, but just get busy. Things happen and take an opportunity again to go down and visit the parents last weekend. So that's what I did. Not a bad drive going down there and visiting them. And, you know, certain things come up, and if I can do it, I'm going down to visit them. But anyway, it really is nice to see you all and have you guys here. Um, Kind of an impromptu thing. Just sit back, relax, and particularly talking about whiskey. I know you're all shocked. Really, I know you are. But I've talked about this before. We brought this up before. But sometimes there are people that feel they can only drink particular whiskeys, and I don't care what it is, but whiskeys in general, but I'm only going to pick one, but I'm sure there are many, and let me know if you agree, disagree, or what your particular fall whiskey is. But a lot of people feel that a rye is more suited for them to drink in the cooler months. And while being this is October, fall has officially begun here in the US. I particularly like ryes. I can drink them in the summer, in the spring, in the winter, in the fall. They're all good. So I just thought we'd kick back. I posted the link. Anybody wants to join and chat and talk about whiskey, rye, whatever, hop on. I see we got a few people in chat I'm going to say hello to. Let me know what's in your glass or what you're going to pour. But, when I was looking for a particular bottle, I should have used this for my Forgotten Not Gone series, but I'm pulling out just to start. I'm going to get a little taste of this because, man, it's been a minute since I opened this up. But how about this? Blood Oath Pack 6 from 2020. I haven't reached for this thing in I can't tell you how long, but I'm going to pour that right here. Here it is. I mean, I haven't even had much out of this since I cracked it, and I don't even remember when that was. But I'm sure if I go back and look at some of the past streams, I'll find it. But I think I got to go back a couple of years. But anyway, I just thought I'd pour some of this. And this one was finished in a cognac barrel. If any of you had Packed 6, and I like that finish. I particularly like sherry finishes. So you all know if it's something finished in sherry, yes, I want to try it. And if it's good, take my money. But I'm just going to pour that kind of to get started. But like I said, I was looking. Oh, and the cork is intact. Beautiful. I was just pushing some stuff back and looking for a little of this, looking for a little of that. And I pulled out some rye, and I just come across this and I thought, oh, well, we're going to pour a little Blood Oath Pack 6 to start off with. I mean, I remember when I stumbled upon this thing sitting on a shelf back there, pandemic time, and it was one of those things that you just don't. Oops, let me turn it. There we go. That you just don't always, at the time, you just didn't always find on the shelf. So I just happened to be at the right place at the right time and picked this thing up, and then I left it set for a minute because it was just one of those. I was like, holy smokes, I can't believe I got one. But I've never purchased another one since because really, honestly, I haven't seen them anymore out here. They're here, but as fast as they get here, they go. You know what I'm saying? They go. So as I'm sipping on this, let me pop up in chat and see who all is here. And just want to say cheers to Paul. Appreciate you being here, brother. Thank you. Yes, I seen Marty here. Marty, cheers, man. Appreciate you for being here. Thank you very much. And I know everyone here is already subscribed to Whiskey Knows, because if you're not, I have no idea why. Top Dog, cheers, brother. Always appreciate seeing you. Thank you. And then Peter, cheers, man. Hope all is well. And Kathy, Cheers. Fixing dinner. Hey, I got that right. Well, it's only a little after 5 here, so I'll get a little something going on after this stream. And oh, by the way, Livewire will be on after me tonight. Yes, yes, yes. Wonders never cease. So Livewire will be on at 6, so we'll be transitioning on over to them at that time. Hey, cheers, sir. Mr. Mom, always a pleasure to see you. Hope all is well for you. Sean, what's up, man? Great to have you here. Appreciate you coming in, saying hey, and smashing the like button. Was 80 in Ontario. Well, right now, I'm 82 in Las Vegas, believe it or not. And this morning, I think it said I was around 17 Celsius, Peter. I'm going to say we were closer to around 11 or 12 Celsius. It was in the 50s this morning for me, which is chilly in Vegas. But boy, it certainly is nice to be on the patio at that time of day with a cup of coffee. That's for darn sure. Really nice. And there is the man, the myth, the legend from Virginia. Cheers, sir. Appreciate you being here, Brian. Hope you are doing well. Appreciate you coming up and saying hey. That's for darn sure. Hey, Sean. Cheers, man. How are you? Hope you're doing well. Again, I appreciate everybody, but appreciate you for being here and saying hello. It's always great to have you. But like I said, fall's a time that some people feel that there are different whiskeys that they would prefer to drink. And rye always seems to be one of them, And so tonight I thought we would just sit back and talk about that. And, for me, I don't care about rye. I said it earlier. I don't care. I'll drink it all the time. But in the fall, there's a thing I'd like to do. My wife and I got a time to go, particularly now, to go for an extended weekend, hook up to the trailer, head up north, pull over somewhere and just kind of, it's called boondocking. Basically, you just use what's in your camper. You aren't connected to power. You're not connected to water or anything like that. You are using what was in that camper, to go somewhere, make a fire at night and just pour a nice dram and just sit there by the fire, look up at the stars, on a crisp evening. Oh, I think it's great. And I was just looking at this blood oath, and man, that thing is, I can see it. If I can see it, I'm hoping you guys can see it. It is just clinging to the glass nice. And like I said, this is the Blood Oath 6 from 2020, and finished in a cognac. But I just love doing that. Now, we haven't been able to do that for a couple of years, just time, and that W thing gets in the way. And so, anyway, cheers to everybody. Got, like I said, Blood Oath 6 in there. Let me know what's in your glass. Let me know what your preference is for the cooler weather. And I'm going to talk about ciders. Any of you get into ciders at this time of year? Are you finding anything in particular? Because it is that time of year. Someone else was talking to me about that. The hard ciders. I'm like, yeah, I'm sure. I just don't know of any locally right off the bat that's, made and ready to go. But some of you, I'm sure, have it around where you are. Probably you do, Top Dog, being, in the area you're in. I would imagine that you could pick up some pretty decent cider at this time of year. Cheers, everyone. Wow. That's nice. That cognac has a nice influence on it. I kind of forgot about that darn thing. And man, it just has such a nice, it's light on the palate, but as it comes back in here, and this is only the first sip, it has a little bit of spice on it, a little of that, like a rye spice, which I've got some 95.5s right here that we'll talk about. And one you've heard me talk about before that brought me back to peated scotch. It helped reset my palate for that. And I don't go to it often. I haven't been to it for a while. So I want to do that last if I get into it, but I'll show that on there. So, hey, Ronaldo, cheers. Hope you're doing well. Appreciate you being here and saying hello to everyone. Thank you for popping in here, sir. Yeah. Well, yeah. You know what, Marty? Yes. Some of them I find, they're, I tell you what, I could put a straw in them and drink them. I really, really do like them, but you're right. Some are sweet. I mean, um, I love fresh pressed apple juice, you know, um, and sometimes it's just very sweet, but oh my goodness, I do love it. I certainly do love it. But yeah, some ciders to me come off sweet. Now, do any of you ever warm them up and maybe add some cinnamon or something else to it and maybe a little extra something you pour in there when you do it? Yeah, um, I like them too. I can't recall within the last 5 years of purchasing hard cider to have at the house. I've had it on other occasions, and it's always around the holiday. Someone will have some on the stove, when I said they're heating it up. Um, and I've had some. I'm not particular when they add a little. I'm not particularly fond when they add some clove to it. Uh, Clove itself in me is like a vampire and garlic. Yeah, you can keep it. I just I don't know. I'm not into cloves. Yes, sir. I knew you would be here, so I had to put the hat on. And again, it's getting cooler, so the heavier felt fedora I thought would be appropriate uh, for this year since we're talking about fall whiskeys. And like I said, from your comment earlier on Scotch Down Under, I thought, well, better break out the fedora. Hanging's going to be here. Just thought, what the heck? Anyhow, let's see. Make sure I didn't miss any. Aha! I knew I saw James somewhere on there. Cheers, man. Hope all is well across the pond, brother. Glad to have you here. Really, really glad to have you here. Appreciate it. Thank you very much, sir. And then I did see Josh come in here. Cheers, man. Great having you here. Thank you very much for popping in here. I do appreciate it. High was 85 today. Yep. Well, we didn't have 85. I'm only at 82 right now here. So, yeah, it's been pleasant. And this morning out on the patio having some coffee, it was cool. I will tell you, it was cool. But once that sun broke up over the back wall, oh, it was beautiful out there this morning. Just beautiful. You're thinking of a G&T? Well, you go right ahead and think it, sir. You go right ahead and think it. Don't you hesitate. I always say you drink what you like on here. So cheers there, hanging. But anyway, back to this. Let me get another sip on this because this Blood Oath 6, holy smokes, I may have to leave this down here instead of putting it back up there to where it's out of sight, out of mind. Nice nose. Wow. Shoot, I forgot what the ABV was on this thing. Was it 95, 96? I honestly don't remember. 98.6. Okay, 49.3. 98.6. Yeah. Shoot, this thing is good. I really forgot it. I knew I had it. I knew it was open, and I knew I liked it. But I forgot all about this darn thing. Very, very nice. Very nice. Low was 63. Perfect weather for a hike. Yep. Oh, by the way, I know you're getting new trail runners. I would, if you can wear them, and I don't know if you have an REI around you where you. I know where you are. I went to those Altex. I have a pair of the trail runners, which I wear them every day, and then I have a pair of hiking boots. So they have the zero drops. In other words, they're technically flat. They look like they got a big arch, but they're not. They're flat. And then they have the wide toe box on there. Oh man, I tell you what, really, really a good shoe. So I don't know if you've tried those hanging, but I know you said you got another pair coming. So 71 here and outside with a cigar. Some kill home and mock you. Oh my gosh, Marty, hold on, right here at my freaking feet. Right here at my freaking feet. There it is. I was looking at that earlier and I set it down here at my feet, and look what you got. Mockir Bay. Right at my feet. I've got a shelf. I staged some whiskeys on there that I want from time to time. So if I'm doing a stream and all of a sudden I get the urge for some peat, or I get the urge for some scotch or whatever, I can transition without jumping to the shelf. And I've got that right here. It just made me chuckle when you said that. Got it. 98.6 is yes, of blood. Well, yes. I didn't think of it right away, Peter, but when I read yours and read the comment, I had to stop for a second. I'm like, oh yeah, you're right. 98.6. But anyway, this is really good. I forgot all about it. So hence I've got that stream forgotten but not gone. But man, it's a nice whiskey. I've said this many times before. People, go back in your shelves. You've probably got some whiskeys you haven't touched in a minute. And it's not that you didn't like them. You just got, like me, so many more in the front. You just don't get to them as often. Jeez, reach back in there, when you pull them out, take a little towel, wipe the dust off the things, and pour yourself a dram. Oh my gosh, you can't beat it. Backing off the high proof. Oh, well, I got you. I know how you are hanging when you get up to around that 98, 99, 100. Whoo-wee. I got you. Hey, Tom. Cheers, man. Appreciate you being here. Thanks. Nice to see you. That's for darn sure. Let's see. Make sure I didn't miss anything. What's Josh got here? Old Forester single barrel proof rye. Ooh. Is that the blue label, Josh? Because me and the blue label have not had a good relationship in Old Forester. The picks on them just have not done well with me. Oh, you've read my mind, Peter. And it's funny you should say that. Right here. Look what else is right here. Right at my grasp. Now, I picked this up a while ago. I haven't opened it yet. So this is this. But it is a Glengarry 10-year from 14 coming in at 58.4 ABV. Oh my gosh, you guys are reading my mind on some of these things. Marty on Kilhoman, Peter on Loch Lomond. And I'm like, and those two are right within my grasp. Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? I got a couple other ones here too. Okay, I'll pull this out. See who pulls it right quick. How about the Brooklotti 18? Right here at my grasp. Right here at my grasp. I keep a few things situated here. And somewhere, what else is on there? Oh, what is that down there? Matter of fact, I don't even know. I got something else down here. Hold on. What the heck is it? Oh, I know what it is. I know what it is. There we go. The Craig Isle. I like this. This is the Isla. Yep. That's down here too at my feet. I just like it as a everyday just go-to sipper. Just everyday go-to sipper. That's for darn sure. You got some enough for 8 trail runners, load. Yep. Yep. Oh, okay. Yeah, it's 60. If it's $60 for that, I think that's a darn good price. Really do think that is a darn good price. Hey, Ben. Cheers, man. Nice seeing you pop in there. That's for darn sure. A green label. All righty. Nothing wrong with a little green label. Artesian water, zero. Hey, everybody needs 48 to 72 hour minimum hiatus every week. I usually go 4, 5, 6 days in between these sessions. But yeah, nothing wrong with that. Matter of fact, I've got a little H2O right here sitting. So in between sips and in between ones, absolutely. No, I do not have it. I do not. Oh, I just put that one up. I just put that one up. Actually, it was the organic. That was right here, and I just set it back on the shelf. And as a matter of fact, I was sipping this yesterday, the Glen Scotia 15. Had that one out. Was working on that a little bit yesterday. Really like that. That thing has opened up very, very nicely. See how we all get sidetracked on these streams. I start off with one thing and now here we go. But that's all right. It's okay. Yeah, I really like how that bottle opened up since I had picked that thing up and have had um, some sips out of it. It's opened up nicely. Opened up nicely. Just send them your way if I don't like them. You know what? If it happens, you got it. I guarantee it. You will have it. There you go. I can't come up with that one. I don't have it that at my feet at all. Not at my feet. Wish I did. Wish I did, but I don't. Ooh, Torbeg. All right. You know, that's good. I think I think Sugar Kitty dropped off a sample a while ago of that for me. And but that's I think that's all I have had of that from that one time. But I like it. I like it. And he just picked up a Cubacan. Sugar Kitty did, and I think if I'm not mistaken, I think he got two of them. Two of them. He did an unboxing on Scotchtown on Saturday. And the only thing I could think of was, oh, that's nice. Mm-hmm. That's nice. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. I tell you what, the Loch Lomond 12. Oh, smokes. The problem is here is when it gets here, it flies off the shelf. It's a great, great, just all day sipping whiskey with just a suggestion of a little bit of peat in there, smoke in there in the back. It's a great one. I have one unopened bottle of Loch Lomond 12 left. I'm really hoping it comes back, and my sources that go to Costco let me know when it hits, because I pretty much keep a standing order for that thing. I think it's like $29, $24.99. It's a damn good price for that bottle when they have it. Damn good price. Double oak store pick that was picked for its heavy oak influence, and you can tell them from the double oak, and a third of the price. Oh well, hey, there you go. There you go. To me, that when you could find something that is good as something else, and it's, let's just say, half the price, and it's like it ticks all your boxes like that, Tom. Oh shoot, yes, absolutely, all day long. But Woodford and me kind of have a touch and go relationship. Sometimes it's the on, and but most of the time it's on the off side. But I think it's the rye. Now I'm gonna have to look because it. I know where kind of right, but I know it's literally one of those ones, literally the back on the shelf, the back of the last row, because I did see it a while ago. I just didn't pull that out. But you know what? I was kind of like, oh shoot, that wasn't too bad. I mean, it wasn't a lot going on the palate with it. I'm pretty sure it's a rye. It just wasn't bad at all. You know, it's not a drain pour by any means. It just didn't make me go, oh, kind of like the Blood Oath or Michter's rye. You know, it's just one of those things. But it was good, and it was a Woodford. So I was like, okay, it's all right. It is all right. Case, I need a Loch Lomond. Yes, 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 yes. Everybody needs a Loch Lomond. I haven't seen or heard from Paw Paw. I have not. I'm so glad you mentioned it. I meant to ask you that, and it slipped my mind because I'm BSing through chat here. And yes, I haven't heard from him. You may have to, you know, call up the nursing home and see if he came out of the colon cleansing room. He might have locked himself in, don't want to come out. You just don't know. You just don't know. Hey, if you can find it, you know me. Tomatin and me get along well. So yeah, if you can find it and it's at a good price that you can afford, yeah, go ahead. Hanging, you crack me up sometimes. So I can see you going through Walgreens looking, well, if I can't pronounce it, I probably can't afford it anyway. Walking past the locked cabinet. Oh, goodness gracious. uh, oh, yeah, sometimes hanging comes up with some good ones. Oh, I'm sure he is. He's probably done something wrong as usual. Why, my goodness, Mr. Hall. Cheers, sir. Great seeing you. Hope you're doing well. Mm. Mm-mm-mm. Really appreciate everybody here and smashing the like button. Really helps the channel out. 27 on. Cheers, everyone. Thank you. And please feel free to comment and chat. What is your favorite fall whiskey? And if some of you kind of missed the intro, I've talked about it a couple times, but um, a lot of people feel that there are only certain whiskeys they can drink at certain times of the year. And one of them in particular you always hear about are ryes. Well, that doesn't apply to me and a lot of people here that are in the chat right now. We can drink them all the time. But if you have a favorite one you prefer to drink in the cooler months, let us all know. Oh, you don't mind the Michter's either? Okay, good to know. Note to file. Note to file, sir. I will see. Oh, okay. All right. So he's around. I didn't know. I don't wish him ill, but yeah, I honestly haven't heard. I haven't even seen him around Whiskey Tube. Generally, he kind of pops up, sticks his hand up out of the grave and waves and says hello, but I haven't seen hide nor hair of him. Oh yeah, regular Shelfer Wictors. Geez, Michters. Yeah, it's good hanging. It's good all day long. I haven't had a bottle, but I've had some. It is a good sipper. Mr. Williams, cheers, brother. Hope you are doing well. Thank you for popping in here. I really do appreciate it. And look at this, look at this, look at this. Yes, sirree. Hope you are feeling well. Appreciate you coming in here. And if you didn't know, Burben was a little under the weather. He posted it. That's why he wasn't going to stream on Friday. So hope you're doing well, sir. Appreciate you being here and smashing that like button. Cheers to Ben. Yeah. Yeah. If you know where that one is and it's the one you like and you know it could slip through your fingers, I got you. I got you. It's tough, but I'd probably have to go get it. But that's just me. I'd have to go get it and then sneak it in through the garage and put it on the shelf. Mm-hmm. Just saying. Mm-mm-mm. Oh my gosh, 23 runs of the damn Yankees. You know, if you haven't heard me say it before, I'll say it again. My favorite team is whoever plays the damn Yankees and beats them like stepchildren. Yeah. But, you know, it is what it is. It is what it is. Let me catch up here a little bit. Detroit Lions won. Holy smokes. Well, I know the Steelers did because they had a bye week. So, hey, thumbs up. Thumbs up. Anyone know where I can pick up a bottle? What? Oh, God. I had to get closer to that sucker. I'm like, what? Had to get the bifocal in on that thing. Had to do it. Sometimes those, I've had bottles towards the end come up with some of the strangest notes that made me shake my head and look at the bottle and go, holy smokes. But you know what? It happens. It certainly happens. Whiskey site. Oh my goodness. Here we go. Oh, hey. I just seen Northwest Bourbon here. Cheers, sir. I was lurking for your stream. I was just tired and man, oh day. I was just tired. Hey, Orlando. What's up, man?
Not a whole lot. How's it going?
Oh my God. Great. Let me slide over so I can get in the picture here.
Okay.
Well, I like to lean to one side, but we all do that, one side or the other. So now that you're here, I'll move over this way a little bit. But cheers, Mark. Great to have you here. Thanks for popping in, saying hello. And if anyone hasn't subscribed to Northwest Bourbon, and I don't know of anyone here that I've seen that isn't, you need to go over and do that. Not only support him, but support a veteran. Support a veteran. Great stream, and that's what was on. And he does it on a monthly basis for that. So y'all got to get over there and support him and watch some of his past videos and smash that like button for him. Exactly. Smash it. Appreciate it. What did you miss? Shit, this is Bourbon Neophyte. You didn't miss nothing yet. we just getting started. I just finished a little Blood Oath 6 to open it up, and I'm just asking people what's their favorite fall whiskey, or do they have a whiskey that they only drink in the fall, or not really? You'll drink anything at any time of the year. So I'm going to go on to the first rye. Well, let me just change this. There we go. Let me change this up a little bit. Okay, now I can center myself, and I'm going to stick with. I'm going to knock up the proof just a tad, just a tad. And this is another one that I had to go and grab because it's on the back. It's the E.H. Taylor Straight Rye. I've opened it, but it was up on another shelf and in the back behind the Blood Oath. So, being that it was, I'm going to go ahead and pour a little of this to start it off with because I haven't had it in a minute. I really haven't. What was that bottle you got there? I just
This is an Oklahoma straight rye,
Oh, I don't
and
think I've heard of that.
it's this one is finished in Amarone,
Oh, okay.
and they also make one that's quite tasty. That is a Sauternes finish.
Ooh, Sauternes. Now that raises an eyebrow for me.
I'm a little more partial to the Amarone, as you can probably tell.
No, I just figured, that was just the closest one.
They were both right behind me, and like you said, kind of visit them again. Uh, they're both with them being finished. They're both mood pours.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, I like a rye in particular in an old fashioned,
Uh,
and normally I'll either go Old Forester or I'll go Bullet
oh man, that Bullet Rye, isn't it off the hook for the price?
for the price. And the Old Forester you actually get, well, I think the liters are about the same price for the Old Forester or the Bullet.
Mm-hmm. I think the
I'm good
old
with either one of them.
I think the Old Forester Rye just has a little more of that rye spice that I like over Bullet. But
Another
I
one that
like Bullet.
another one I haven't visited in a while
Oh,
is
Sentinels.
the Delbach.
Yeah, I don't have that, but I know about it.
Yeah.
I know
And this
Whiskey
one,
Delbach.
yeah, this one's got they do like a mesquite finish on it,
Mm-hmm.
and it's
Mm-hmm.
interesting. I think Ben, I think Whiskey Uncensored just picked one of these up a couple of weeks ago on his road
Well,
trip.
he was at Whiskey Delbach. I
Yes,
go down to Yuma a lot because that's where my parents are. And I keep saying, I'm going to do a detour or go down there and then the next day leave and go to Tucson and spend the day and then, the night and then drive back to Yuma. And I even was chatting with Hanging a while ago, AZ, that, we may have to do a meetup because he's, up north of there. Let me put a little of this in the glass here. But oh yeah, I knew that Sentinel. I know that Sentinel. That's for sure.
they don't. I don't think anybody carries it around here. I had to order it, and I was happy with it. I heard people talking about it, and
Oh
I'm
yeah.
like, give it a try.
Hey, you know, let me say this. I'm impressed. I bought the what I call the normal uh, Delbec, and I just actually pulled it out today, so it's something you should say. I got it. I hate to say in a box right here, but I do. But this is the this is their standard.
Okay.
This one right here. This is really good. I mean, you've got a taste of a little campfire, tobacco, and chocolate in this thing. And
Hmm.
this is their shelfer. You can always find this. So I have one of their special releases, and I think it's right here. Let me look. Let me look. Yes, it is. And this is hard to find, but I was in Yuma, so I was at the right place at the right time, and then picked. Let me highlight myself, and then picked this one up. And
Okay.
they only do so many of them and release them, and I just happened to walk in, and boom,
Right
there
place,
it
right
is.
time.
So this is the whiskey Delback. It's an American single malt, just like this one right here. But it's a well, it's really standard, but it's done in French Calvados casks.
Okay.
And oh my gosh, this is nice. This is nice. But what I like about it is it reminds me a little bit of Still Austin, because in Arizona, like Texas, it's not like whiskey aged in Kentucky, where you have nice expansion and contraction. You have a lot shorter season because of the heat
Hmm.
that they
Hmm.
have. So it imparts a totally different flavor to it. And you made mention of the mesquite. Um, you know, my whiskey I love to hate, Long Branch, which I'm sure everybody hates it. Um, the way they filter it through mesquite charcoal gives it a very off-putting taste to me. But this, that sometimes is the grain is smoked using mesquite
Hmm.
to give it the campfire taste. Um, it's wonderful. It's wonderful. But uh, Long Branch just totally screwed it up in what they did there. That's just my opinion. Now you ask McConaughey, well, by gosh, hey, he's all for it, but that's fine. To each his own. But anyway, um, yeah, I like Delback. I like Delback, and it is distributed here in Vegas. It just hasn't hit the shelves yet that I have seen, and I'm surprised that it hasn't come out here yet. And I don't know why. And maybe it has. I just haven't been in the right uh, location to find it. But it's supposed to be here in Nevada, and I think it's Total Wine is who is right now. I think is supposed to be the one that's getting it first. Deeper Pockets.
Yeah, the people that make this same old Moses, they're west of me, and they've come out. They have a PX sherry cask finish also, and the bigger stores have started carrying it over here.
Take
So
my
I'm going to
money.
try to grab one of those.
Take my
I've
money.
never
He
had
said Jerry.
I've never had anything PX finished yet.
Oh, that Pedro Jimenez. That's like that makes my ears perk up. That's my favorite finish, along with Oloroso. Oloroso is definitely under the PX. The PX to me gives it a little deeper, richer flavor than the Oloroso. That's just me. But I love the PX finish. That's why I like the Redbreast PX.
Hmm.
Yeah, it, I like that finish. That finish that finish works for me. That
I think the red breast that I have is the Tawny Port.
Oh yeah, oh yeah, 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 yeah. Yeah, I've had a
I don't,
sample of that, and I don't think it's terrible. And I like port finished whiskeys.
I don't know if you're picking up any of my background. My grandson is about 15 feet away from me. He's a little over a year old, and he's having a blast right now.
It's all right. It's all right. It don't bother me one bit as long as he's happy.
Yes.
It sure
I didn't know
beats
if it
me.
was, I didn't know if you were picking it up or not because I've got earbuds in to kind of cancel some noise. So
Oh, yeah, I hear it, but it's not. It's everything's fine. Don't worry about it. Here,
I love hanging with him, and it's like medicine. The laughter is just like medicine. It makes you feel good.
oh yeah. Speaking of that, how's your arm?
The arm's feels pretty good. I'm out of the sling as much as I want to be. The doctor said I could use it just for comfort if I needed to,
Mm-hmm.
and it's it's
Ooh,
healing up quite well.
yeah.
It starts down here and comes all the way up, and got some titanium and 22 screws. So I go
Mm-hmm.
back. I go back in a month, and we start looking at physical therapy at that time.
Yep. 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 Yep.
This basically gave me a dry August.
I bet it did. You had other things to take that you needed to be on.
And after the surgery, I only took medication. I had surgery on the 14th. I only took medication for like 3 days, but I just laid back on it, just to making sure that I didn't
Yep.
do anything stupid, or
Yep. No, no. I had
plan it
rotator
safe.
cuff surgery, so totally
Mhm.
understand. And I think within a week, from the time of the surgery, a week after, I was off the heavy hitters. But for the first 72 hours, oh no, no. Um, and then when I got to like the fifth and sixth day, I started to cut back, as in instead of taking 3 or 4 pills, I forget what it was. I went down to just 3 a day. I made sure I took it at night. And then when I woke up, then I might skip the afternoon dose again, then take the evening dose. So then I would do that and, kept going. Um, but yeah, the doctor told me, even the nurses says, yeah, you're going to think you feel better and don't need it. Don't stop at least for, you know, the duration of this bottle, what we gave you, because it's
Mhm.
harder to get you back under control when you decide you're done. Because when you leave here, we make sure you're at a certain level, and this maintains a certain level of comfort. Yeah, well, my wife heard that. So, yeah, I couldn't get off. At night, she'd wake up because I'd hear the alarm and I knew what she was doing. She was coming out because I couldn't lay flat. I was in a chair. And she'd come out, hey, I'm up. I'm up. Trust me, there's just no sleeping right now. And she'd give me the pill and some water, and I'd take it, and she'd go back to bed. And I'd just turn the television. Yeah, it was the first couple of days I just couldn't sleep. It was just so uncomfortable. But then by the third and fourth day, I kind of figured the chair out. It was all right. You just couldn't lay flat. I couldn't lay flat. That's for darn sure.
First
But
couple of days after the break, I just slept on the couch and just like propped up with a couple of pillows and just kind of leaning over
mm-hmm.
towards my left and just braced up. Because, like you said, I couldn't get comfortable laying flat, and I'm a side sleeper anyway, so
Mm-hmm.
that wasn't going to work.
I used to be a stomach sleeper until I had that surgery. And before I had the surgery, it caused me to change positions. Yeah, that kind of cured me of it now. That cured me of it. But anyway, for me, this EH Taylor rye is really nice. It's light on the palate. It's not as rye forward as I remembered, although the blood oath could have something to do with it. But the blood oath is a lower proof. But anyway, um, I like this. I like the flavor of it. I, I I think it's a good rye. I picked it up for $49, something like that. Good deal. Or was it 59? Wasn't much over that. I had it a
Was
minute.
that was that with or without the coupon?
I didn't have a coupon. I uh, just happened to be at a store. It was there. And you know how you do a double take and you go, holy shit, does that say rye? And you get closer. And then you look at the price and go, that's the correct price? Yeah, yeah. Let me hold that then. You just take it. You just take it. And my wife says, oh, you got your bottle. I go, this one doesn't count. I remember saying that. This one doesn't count. Now let's go shopping and get a bottle. Greg McDonald felt the same when he was. Oh gosh, Marty, you're killing me.
I did a little rinse on the glass, and we're going to do a little of the sauternes now.
Yeah. Throw that in there. I like a Sauternes finish. But this is my thing about a finished whiskey in general. A
Mhm.
finish should take the back seat to the whiskey itself. It should complement the whiskey notes, not push through it or overpower. And that's how
I
I
agree.
look at finished whiskey. I want to taste the whiskey notes. I like the sherry influence. I like the cognac influence. I like Armagnac influence. I like wine cask finish influence. But I don't want that to push through the whiskey and be uh, the only note that's there, because that's
Hmm.
not the intent of the blender. At least I wouldn't think so. Why would you want to overshadow your whiskey with the finish? And that's what I tell people about peat when we get into these discussions. I go, your idea of a heavy peated whiskey is convoluted. And what I tell them is you're talking about a robust peat like Ardbeg or Lagavulin or Lafroy, just using those. Peat is measured in ppms. And when you look at the ppms of those whiskeys I mentioned, they're about 50. But when you get into an octomore heavily peated, you're talking 300 ppms. So I said, you have to be able to distinguish heavily peated and robust. And that's how I put it. And that's the same way I talk about a finish. And to put it into context, you don't want the peat to push through the whiskey. The peat that smoke should caress the sweetness to give you that salt, that sweet, with that smoke enveloping it. And it accompanies it. It brings out better notes. And some people say, you know what? It's like Band-Aids and hate. Got it. You either like it or you don't, or you learn the taste, you understand the taste, you accept it, and your palate expands. And I have that whiskey that brought me back to peat here. um, but that's, a lot of people, like I said, have a misconception about peated whiskey. And then some people don't prefer a finished whiskey at all, because they think the finish is overpower. And I can agree with them. I go, it should not overpower. But your taste, my tastes, Marty's tastes, uh, right field, left field, center field. What you like is
You
what you
happen,
like. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
you happen to know what the ppm would be on the Ardbeg Ugadal?
Oogie is, I think, around 50. I don't have the notes in front of me, but it's not what you think. It's not what you think. Like regular Lagavulin, 45, 50, or not Lagavulin, Lafroig, 45, 50, Lagavulin, 45 ppms. Yeah. Oh, speaking of somebody that might know, Donald, in ppms on a Ardbeg, which one?
The Ugadal?
Ugadal? ppms on that. If you know off the top of your head, because I don't have my notes, because I did have them at one time. Isn't that about 50 ppms on the Oogie? Oh, here we go. It's coming up here. See? There we go. There's one, and here's the other. And then look, the Canadians got it. Boom, 55. But see, that's a very robust peat.
Mm.
That's the way I look at Ardbeg. That's the way I look at Lagavulin. As a matter of fact, I don't think Lagavulin is as robust as Ardbeg or Lafroig in peat levels.
I was Mark, Mr. Great Shot, was talking about it, and I was like, I need to grab a bottle, and I'm like, can't go wrong with it. It wasn't that, price was good,
Oh yeah,
and
Whiskey
I I
Mountain, she
I,
loves it.
I quite like it.
It's a beautiful whiskey. It's a beautiful. I don't have any Ugadal, but uh, Ardbeg's a beautiful whiskey. It's got some great taste. It's got some great notes. Some of their committee releases that they have put out there are out of the park. But some of them have been real shitters. But any distillery can put out a hitter, but they also can put out some shitters. That's the bottom line on that. They all have it.
Kind of like wild turkey and long branch.
Yeah, oh shit. That turkey never flew. That turkey never flew, in my opinion. In my opinion, it never got off the frickin' ground.
Mm.
Yeah, I think you're right, Ben. I'd go 40 on Lagavulin without a doubt, especially the 16. I just killed my bottle of 16 a couple of weeks ago, and so I have to replace it. But damn, here it's still almost $100, and I bought that bottle for I think out the door for like 68 with tax. But that's been 4 or 5 years ago for sure on that. So that's kind of depressing. And my Highland Park 15 Viking Heart, that's gone, but I have a backup for that. Um, I did a couple of bottle kills. And which other one did I kill? Because you get them bottles where they're getting down to about 2 to 3 pours. It's like, ah, hey, cheers, man. How are you? Hope you're doing well. Great having you here. Cheers, man. Oh, look at this. Look at this. Look at this guy here. Holy crapola. Taking time out from the gym. Cheers, T Rob. Hope you're doing well. Great to see you. Haven't had a chance to chat with you a minute.
Cheers, T Rob.
Mm-mm-mm. You know, the one thing about the E.H. Taylor, if you are into the Campbelltown scotch, and so when people talk about the Campbelltown funk, I'm just using that as a description. The E.H. Taylor rye has a little something on the palate at the finish. And I always relate that note to the Campbelltown funk. There's a little something going on there. It's not off putting, it's not bad. It's just not like it's not in the Michter's rye. It's not in the High West rye. So it's got to be in the grain or how they distill it. It just has a little something there on the palate. So anyway, just thought I'd throw that in there because now as I am sipping on this and the flavors are popping out, and as they develop on the third sip and the fourth sip, you pull out these notes. I'm like, oh yeah, I forgot about that little bit of a surprise on the finish there because it's coming out now. It's got it's reared its head. Mm. And that's one thing about the nicer weather here. I can sit here and have the window open. However, the people that have these bikes that feel that they need to have the exhausts that they can hear in the next county over, I just don't know why. I mean, I know loud pipes save lives. Got it. My dad was a Harley rider forever. And, but that being said, um, they annoy me.
I'm looking forward to now that the temperatures are starting to drop a little bit here. We've got a fire pit in the backyard. So that's one of the things I'm looking forward to is getting the fire pit going up and sitting out back and having a pour on the patio.
See, I'm spoiled now. I use the propane. I just, I got to the point to where I love the fire pit, especially up at camp. But I got so tired of smoke. I mean, camping all my life, scouting in the 80s, late 70s and 80s, you know, all the time, wonderful experiences, the whole 9 yards.
Mm-hmm.
But as I got older, I'm like, Holy crap, love the propane. Same heat, everything. Beautiful flame, great. Everybody can sit around. I don't got to move. Oh, yeah, I'm spoiled. I'm
Yeah.
spoiled. I can't lie. I'm spoiled. I like it. I really like it. Oh, yeah.
I got
Link's always at
I
the
got about
top of the track.
I got about 2 cords of wood I need to go through. It's been there for a year and a half.
Oh, yeah. You got to go through it because you know what? The bugs do start to tear the living mess out of that after a while. I was surprised. My dad had a wood burner, and we'd go through, you know, at least 2, 3 cords easy in a winter. We always had 2 cords in the garage and one in the on the side. Especially when you have a wood burner. And living in Erie, Pennsylvania at the time, you burned through some wood. It got cold and snowy. Oh, that's true. That's true. You're absolutely right. There is a difference between loud and obnoxious. That piece of shit's obnoxious. They live like 2 streets over, and he has a nice looking car, but oh my gosh, loud pipes don't. How does this? They don't make the car run any better. I got exhaust change, the flow, give you a little more horsepower, and so on. I understand all that, but noise. That, so really, I just think he's got a straight pipe, but neither here nor there.
So growing up in Pennsylvania, did you eat scrapple?
You know what? Yes, but it wasn't as big in Pittsburgh as it is further east, especially central Pennsylvania, Philadelphia. So central Pennsylvania, think of Harrisburg, and then continue east. But in Pittsburgh, where I'm from, that it was on the menu, but yeah, no, you had to request it. It didn't come with every breakfast. Just like grits didn't come with every breakfast. But when you went east or you went south, so south into Maryland, south into Kentucky, Tennessee, okay, grits, eggs, grits, that was like bread and jam.
My girlfriend is from Iowa and she grew up in Virginia and scrapple was big up there.
Yeah, yeah. But like I said, where I was from, and just south of Pittsburgh, yeah, no, not at all.
I'd never heard of it till she told me about it.
Most people don't know what it is. Most people don't know what it is. But I thought everybody knew what it was. And then you come out to where I'm at now in Vegas, and it's like you're talking another language. Or you ask for a hoagie out here, 30 years ago. Hey, where can you get a hoagie? What? A hoagie. They didn't understand what you're talking about. Yeah, and you say something like, Subway. Oh, well, here. Well, I mean, I didn't want a Subway, but every high school to raise money for football or band or something sold hoagies. you know, that was funny. Not here.
Here they sell the candy bars and they sell breakfast sausage. There's a
Really?
company there's a company here in Oklahoma called Blue and Gold, and all of the kids that raise the show animals, they buy the show pigs and they make sausage out of them. So you buy, and they come in
Yeah.
like a 2.5 pound tube. They're the longer tube. Very lean, very consistent.
Hey, if it's good, it's good. People buy it. People buy it. You got to raise money. But I hate, and I'm not knocking it. I mean, I'm not knocking the organization does it, but that popcorn the Boy Scouts sell is a ripoff, and the poor kids don't make money on it. I mean, really, it's expensive. It's popcorn. I mean, but that was always the thing. And I'll get on my soapbox for a minute. So when I was a scoutmaster, the council used to get on us because we wouldn't sell it, and I told them no.
I'll be right back.
Take your time. And I told them, no, we used to do a fundraiser and use the kitchen at the VFW, and we'd do spaghetti dinners. We, as the adults, would get in there and make the sauce and get the pasta and the bread and salad, and the other adults would come in and help get the room set up. You talk about a win-win. The VFW loved it because they'd never been busier. Bar was open. We can't sell liquor, but they can. You're an adult. You want to go get a beer and have it with your spaghetti, go ahead and do it. Wasn't on me. Shoot, we made money off of just that one fundraiser. But that popcorn shit here, when the kids are out, I'd rather give them $20 and say, I don't want the popcorn. Here, you put that in your troop account or whatever it is you're going to do with it. But oh yeah, I won't buy that popcorn. It is just redonkulous. But anyway, but yeah, like I said earlier, people, if anybody wants to join, the link is pinned at the top of the chat. Feel free. If you want to come on, talk about some whiskey that you got or whatever, feel free, pop on. No pressure, anybody. Just, that's why I put it up there. It's an open pub night here to just sit back, relax, and talk about your favorite fall whiskey or your favorite whiskey in general. I'm just trying to keep up in chat here, reading what's what. Exactly, T. Rob. I mean, exactly. So a couple houses down, the guy's got a street rod, like a 1935. Looks like a big bathtub, but anyway, I mean, it's got exhaust on it. But the thing is nice. It's loud, but no, I mean, nothing like we're talking about. Nothing like we're talking about. Absolutely, T. Rob. That's exactly how I feel. And when I was a scoutmaster, I was like, yeah, I can't do that. Oh, and the council execs would come and say, you should. I go, look, I know you're not getting any of this, but that's not why I'm doing this. It's not for you, as in the council. I'm doing it for the troop to get tents and then these kids to go to camp and do things so the parents don't have to come up with the money to do all this stuff. Or instead of having to come up for a week of camp, come up with $100 for two kids, so $200, they might only have to do 100 or $25 a kid, so 50, because of the money we raised together. And it was a great fundraiser. Great fundraiser. It really was. A lot of darn work. But hey, it worked out great. Oh, Flowmasters. Oh, yeah.
So I was in Iowa a couple of weeks ago. While I was there, I was doing a little
Mm-hmm.
bottle hunting, and I came across one, and I mentioned it to Joe, Independent Joe, and he goes, "Yeah, that one's good. Grab it." And I was going to buy it just for the heck of it, just because of the name.
Turn it a little bit more to your left. Arrogant bastard, right? That's what it
Yes,
said. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
and it's actually quite good. It's a malt whiskey,
Oh yeah.
and
I know. I haven't had it, but I know of it because of
to
the
me
name. It's
it's kind of like chocolate chip cookie dough almost.
amazing, isn't it? It's like,
It
and
is.
you weren't. It's not something you would expect. It makes you look at the whiskey itself and go, "Holy smokes!" Take that next sip to ensure, is that really right?
Joe told me, he goes, it's chocolatey and hoppy because they make beer. These people distill beer.
Uh huh.
I mean, they brew beer. I'm sorry, and then they did a distilling. It's a joint project with the same stuff that they do to make the beer,
Mm-hmm.
and
Yeah,
it's quite nice.
it is. But it's even nicer when you have no idea what to expect and you take that first sip and your eyes get a little wide and it's sitting in your mouth and you're like, oh my gosh. You let the flavors go, you consume it, and you're looking at your glass and you're looking at the bottle and going, what? And then you take the next sip and you're letting the flavors develop, and you're like, holy smokes, is this really cookie dough? Is this really this, or is this really that?
It's kind of like I drank scotch. I started drinking scotch again about 5 or 6 years ago, and I hadn't had scotch since 1987. It just I just
Yeah.
didn't gravitate back towards it, and it was like everybody said you need to try Bunnahabhain 12.
Oh yeah, I got it right over
So
here.
I got it and liked it, and I'm like, okay, now I need to start trying more scotch.
I'm going to get into a little segment about that because I've got this whiskey here. And so I'm going to do that without a doubt. But James, you're absolutely right. Especially, hold on, especially, and I'm going to just do this for a second here, especially because I really do like, well, I liked the one hat, but the normal uh, fedora, James, boom, like this one, in the style and color of the campaign hat, because I used to have one with the scout emblem, on it. But and I loved that, and so I always had the band that would come in and just tuck up tight to the back of my head. Oh yeah, I don't care if it was gale force winds; that hat wasn't coming off my head. It was like screwed on and stapled on the sides. I didn't care what happened. I could stand there, and that wind would be blowing, and it didn't move. It did not move. But yes, that's where it kind of started with all the different hats. Because generally, I was always a a a ball cap type of hat like this because that's all my grandfather wore, and so I would always wear a hat like that when I'd go out because he wore one. So, but it makes sense. Yes, absolutely correct. JD, cheers, man. Hope you're doing well. Great to see you. Appreciate you being here, man. Thank you very much. Always good to have you. Yeah, see if I missed anything in chat. No, I think we're still good. Enjoying bottles, drams and evening, but I won't be getting another one. Happy that it was a gift. Oh, absolutely. So many more to try. Actually, no. The original uniform, no. But I have collected some through the years from um, I'm going to say it was the 60s. Our shirts never had a collar because you had to wear the neckerchief. So it's just like this almost, except it buttons. So this was a little more V shaped, but then you put your neckerchief on, and they were green shirts. And now I'm
Hmm.
sure you're shaking your head because you know exactly what I'm talking about. So
Hmm.
I would collect those, but they at that time were still, even in the 90s, a legal uniform to wear in formation. You could still wear those uniforms, and once in a while I would pull out because it still had the old patches, the Scoutmaster patch. I just put the new numerals and the council strips and stuff like that, and my knots and different things on it because. But yes, I have a few, and I actually have a current brand new uh, uniform, um, but I've never worn it. When I was a foster parent, the child we had was into Scouts, but Cub Scouts, and so I would take him to the meetings, and I got a new uniform to wear for those events, but I never kitted it out. I never put anything on it and just never ordered. And it's still to this day hanging in the closet. But yep, got a uniform. But yeah, the original stuff that I wore back then, no, no, I can't wear them anymore. For some reason, they shrink over time. I don't know why. Oh my
Somewhere I've got a
goodness. Go ahead.
somewhere I've got a jewelry box with all the little pins that went on the ribbons
Yes,
for the things that you completed,
you had
and
you. Yep.
what do you call the things with the neckerchiefs that hold them?
The slide.
The slide. I've got a couple of those
Hmm.
from Cub Scout, the Webelos, and then going up.
Yeah. I was never a Cub Scout or a Weeblo. I wasn't. I was always in Scouts. I didn't get involved until later as a teenager. And I used to have all the skill awards, but I don't know what I ever did with them. But I mean, I had them for the longest time. So it was sometime after college, I lost track of them. But I had them forever and a day.
I
A
started
lot of my
I started
original badges.
I started when I was 9 and went all the way up.
I never became an Eagle Scout. I got up to Star because I started late, and there were time requirements, as same as you. You could not go from A to Z in a month. And I'm being sarcastic right now, but it's like that now. You can go from a scout up to you can't do Eagle, but you can jump 3, 4 ranks within let's just say a summer camp. It's like absolutely not. But that's one of the reasons why I'm not part of it anymore. Stop making things easy for these kids. They have to understand they have to put time and effort and do the work. The reward is this. You're not preparing them for anything. I saw this change coming a long time ago. I'm not going to get on the soapbox, but um, I saw the change coming and I didn't like the change. And I was very vocal about that change. I said, no, stop conforming, stop conforming, stop conforming. But they didn't, and I won't. So that's why I'm not in it anymore.
There's something to be said about tradition.
Well, you know what? The young men need to be young men with young men, period. I have no problem with girls camping or anything like that. I don't. I absolutely don't. I knew women scoutmasters. They were just getting into it, and they were excellent, excellent at the job. However, I just don't agree with that. I just don't. I'm sorry. Go to Girl Scouts. Go to Girl Scouts. Now, my best friend's daughter, we grew up, college together. She's in scouting and she's doing very well. I'm fine. Great to her. Hope she becomes an Eagle Scout. You know, great. Do it because it's still a work and it's still an achievement. You know, but me, I can't buy into that. I'm sorry. I just can't. But if that's what you want to do, now it's a different time. You go do it. But it's just not for me, and I don't want to offend anybody. I don't mean to offend anybody, but that's just me and my belief. And the young men need to be with the men, and I understand some of the issues and so on and so forth. But um, so being that I can't do that, it's just better for me to step back. And so I made that choice a long time ago, back in the 90s. It's like, yeah, I don't like the way it leaned. But of course, then a lot happened. I got married in the 90s and my circumstances and everything had changed and I had a different life. But I could see the things happening. And like I said, some of the women that I knew that were scoutmasters, trust me, they were excellent. They were absolutely excellent. They filled a role because no one else wanted to. And that was the issue. Nobody else wanted to. And I could see this change happening that parents no longer wanted to commit. And I wasn't a parent. I didn't have any kids. I didn't have any kids. But I was asked to step up by the VFW. And I was a unit commissioner. I was asked to step into that role in my early 20s and take over a troop because they were having issues and struggling. And so I did. I accepted the challenge. I did and took it and developed it and made a good troop out of it. And they were great kids, great kids. Now I know they've all done graduated since then and went to college and probably have kids on their own. But yeah, I saw the writing on the wall. But anyway, don't want to get political or get big stances, but you have to make a choice in your life. And at that time, that was the best choice for me to say, yeah, I got to be done with Boy Scouts. Jason, cheers, man. Hope you are doing well. Really appreciate it. Appreciate you being here. Let me get caught up here a little bit in chat. And I went off on a little tirade, but that's okay. Yeah, we had that too.
When I was when I was in Cub Scouts, our leaders were actually a husband and wife team.
Yeah. Now, right here, as Cub Scouts and stuff, absolutely. It was the point where they still needed mom. And I believe that. And I absolutely believe it in Cub Scouts. Weeblos.
Yes.
Absolutely. But it comes to a point, you got to leave mom and then join dad. But unfortunately, dads were not stepping up.
When I got into Weeblos, we had two men that were the leaders, and both of them had sons who were Eagle Scouts in the same troop with us.
Oh, yeah. And it was tough back in the day to be an Eagle Scout because you had to do time in each rank. You had to do time. You just couldn't go from A to Z in a few months. So from a scout to a first class in a few months. Sorry, it's just ridiculous. You just couldn't do it. Oh yeah. Well, I don't consider that. I just had a job to do and I did it. Yes, there's always been women involved. Absolutely right. Even in my Boy Scout troop, there were women involved, but they were on the committee. And I had one altercation with them when they thought they were going to run the troop. And I advised them how misinformed they were and that I run the troop and you do what I say and you do what we want to do. So in other words, you make it happen. When we want camping trips, you help us plan it. You let us do this or do that. This is the direction I'm going. I don't go in your direction. You go in my direction with the troop. So I disbanded them because they thought they were going to run the troop. They don't run the troop. The committee itself does not run the troop. Does not run the troop. And we had a big brouhaha. And I'm like, no, you don't run the troop. And yes, I will refund your money because this guy took time off work, filled up his tank, and drove your kids to camp along with his. And he's done it 5 or 6 times. So why wouldn't we reimburse him at least for his fuel? I can't reimburse him for his salary or our meals. So you went and a couple other adults went. The troop paid for meals. Now the kids want to eat top ramen. That's on them. They make their own meals. But we had a regular meal. We had some bacon and eggs. We maybe had sandwiches, but a lot of us didn't eat lunch. A lot of us didn't eat breakfast. It was coffee. At dinner, we might have a pot roast. We might make a whole chicken or something like that. So we had a dinner. They got mad and go, well, you're eating this and that. And the kids are eating, macaroni and cheese. It's because they're lazy. That's what they want to make. I go, they can have porterhouse. Do you want to buy a porterhouse for your kid? And blah, 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 blah. They make their own menu. Each patrol makes their menu. It wasn't rocket science, people. But anyway, like I said, I want to get in all this stuff. But like I said, it's a great organization, or it was. It really is. And at the time I was in it, I liked it. But when the changes were happening, I wasn't on board. They're going to do what they want to do. It was better for me to step back and continue my life. And that's what I did. But anyway, So that's just the way it goes.
I was
What?
quartermaster with my, and me and
We
the
didn't have, oh,
scoutmaster.
you know what? Yes, we did have a quartermaster. I forgot. We did have a quartermaster later on
When we
because we had
when we would
tents
get
and stoves, and we had the canvas tents.
yes,
Big
we
ridge.
had
Oh,
canvas.
yeah, those suckers were a PIA to be humping
We
along.
actually
Someone sort of.
we actually had like a little enclosed trailer that one of them would tow behind their truck that had tents,
Yes.
stoves, cookware,
Yep.
everything in it.
Yes.
But
I would
we
load
would
up.
go to
I would load up my
we would go
grandfather's truck.
we'd go to the local grocery store and plan the meals and shop.
Hmm.
And the troop leader was Irish, and he made a hell of an Irish stew on a campfire.
Oh, I've had some of the best crepes cooked on the lid of a Dutch oven I have ever had. Oh, this is my next one, Magnolia. This was given to me. Let me source off. This was dropped off to me by Bourbon Battalion. I'm gonna move this down. There we go. Magnolia. It's in, I do believe, out of Ohio. Bottled and bond Magnolia 95.5 rye at 100 proof. So this I've got to use sparingly because I don't. I'd have to contact Bobby to see if he could even get some more of it. Let me get you off my ugly mug here uh, to get me some. And I've had this for probably close to 5 years. So it's at the point now where I gotta start consuming it. But it's good. I liked it from day one. I mean, from the first crack going, it was really good. Mm, wow. Now you know that's a rye. That's a nice rye. I mean, that sip right there, that retro hail was nice and spicy. And unfortunately, that's true. And the mothers are the ones that's doing it. And there's absolutely nothing wrong with that. The mothers are the ones that's stepping up because the fathers are not stepping up. And unfortunately, it's society. And sometimes it's circumstances that, the father can't. And it's probably better that he does not. So I can appreciate that. And even when I was a scoutmaster, we had some parents that it was just the mother. And I understood that. And, dad could not participate. Let's just say that. And so they did what they could. And you know what? I felt an obligation to step up for them to ensure those kids, got the experience they deserve. And just like my other adults that were there, they took them in, under their wing. Okay, no, come with me. And they were kind of like that surrogate to ensure they got the experience. So they got that leadership. They got that father type figure, if that makes sense to everybody there. We didn't exclude them because of their circumstance. And, I still had moms that would show up at camp and stuff from time to time and do certain things, which I was grateful for, which was absolutely fine. I mean, they would drive 3 hours one way just to come and do something for us, some of them, and then, go back because we were in Maryland camping for a week. It was very, very nice of them to come down on parents' night, day, and do that. So, I'm not against any of that stuff, but, the circumstances dictated our reactions, and we did not want to exclude those kids or make them feel different. You want to help them out.
They're not in charge of their circumstances.
Correct. Absolutely right. They are not. And so we treated them as if that circumstance did not exist. And
We're all
I
the same.
wouldn't have it any other way. Would not have had it
We're
any other
all
way.
we're all the
And
same.
yes, absolutely. Uh, I will say a few times I would make sure they had things that they might not have had. That was me personally. I felt, bad. Okay. Uh, Sleeping bags. All right. I bought a couple for kids or see different things, or I had extra stuff. Well, here, take this mess kit. They had like a plastic plate. Nothing wrong with it. But every kid had a mess kit. And so I had an extra one. Here. Kid was like, "You sure?" I go, "Absolutely. I had one from the military." Thing was like bulletproof, I swear. But, I gave a lot of stuff away. And some of the stuff I had when I was a kid in Scouts, I just wasn't going to use it anymore. But, I gave it away because they didn't have. But I did not want them to miss the experience or feel different in any way because they didn't have this. Does that make sense? That was just me. But anyway, yeah. Yes, back in the day, you could. I don't know if they still do that now. That's what I was just getting at. Eagle Scout is great, but it doesn't have. I don't think corporate America treats it like it used to back in the 80s. And it started to change as I was getting out in the 90s. I could see that. Like I said, the change was happening then. And I don't think it carries the weight that it used to show the level of responsibility, the work that went into achieving that rank. And I don't know what's all entailed now. I know you still have a rigorous course of things to do. I know that. I just could not tell you like I used to. Yep. Um, Absolutely right. And we would try to buy stuff that the parents, because we had a lot of single parents, either single dad or single mom, and to come up with, let's just say, $150 to kit out a kid with a backpack, a sleeping bag, a mess kit, uh, a compass, and a few other, little things at the time might have been straining on them. So when we would have our fundraisers, a portion of that money, we would buy tents or we would buy camp gear. We would buy lanterns. We would buy things. So we had certain equipment. So we had things for them to use that belonged to the troop. And then eventually my goal was each patrol would have their own set of tents, their own set of cook gear, their own lanterns and certain comforts, let's say. So, and they would literally be in charge to ensure that gear was brought in out. So the quartermaster check each platoon or each patrol had a quartermaster would check their gear in and out to ensure it was used, cleaned, and stored appropriately. That was their job. But anyway, it was just a different time. Different time. I enjoyed it, loved it, miss it. I'm passionate about it. I enjoy the outdoors. I like camping, but it just got to the point where I can't toe that line up to just a small part of it. Just a small part of it, for sure. But and it's not called Boy Scouts of America anymore. They changed the name, and I
This is,
forget. I think it's just Scouts or
it's,
something like that.
I think you're correct. I think it's just Scouts now.
Yeah. I think it's just Scouts now. So save your
I
uniforms,
was,
guys. They're antiques. I
I was in late '60s and then through the '70s.
wish my dad kept some of his stuff from the 50s when he was in.
Somewhere I still have my knife and I have my book.
So let me ask you: do you still have your tote and chip?
No, don't know
No.
where, don't know where a lot of that stuff is. I've moved like 4 times since all
Oh yeah,
this.
exactly, exactly. But that was you had to get that card in order to carry a pocket knife.
Mhm.
hmm And then you'd always get at least one or two corners off the new ones because they'd make a mistake in handling that knife. So it was my duty to at least get two of those corners to always teach them to be very cognizant of what you're doing with that knife, that blade in general. So
I think
I
I
would make it my goal to get two of those corners and say, now you only got two left. You lose that
one
fourth
of
one, you start all over again.
one of my fondest memories. I want to say it was 1970. I won the Pinewood Derby in my troop,
Oh, I had to build one of those
and
cars for my foster kid.
these kids were getting all fancy and doing all kinds of stuff, and you could see where some of them had drilled the back and had like loaded it with some lead and stuff for some extra weight. And I was like,
They
oh
were
great.
sneaky. They were sneaky, but now they weigh them. Oh yeah, they have to weigh a certain thing. And um, so if they're overweight, because they can't be, they're disqualified. But you know what? Weight really didn't help. Not like they thought it would, because
And
you can't have a car over a certain weight. So now, like I said, they weigh them, and if they have to weigh within a certain thing, and I can't remember, so that's how they get around that. And that's a shame. But
somewhere
at the time, like when you were, that wasn't even thought of. If you did it, you did it. But now that's not quite ethical. Let's say.
somewhere I still have my little trophy. It's about 10 inches tall or so with the little Pinewood Derby car on top.
Mm-hmm. And
Somewhere.
there's the first place, second place, and third place. But unfortunately, there was no such thing as an honorable mention trophy just because you did it.
Mm-hmm.
I know. Like I said, I'm sorry. Don't get me started. Don't get me
Not
started.
back not back in those days. My daughter
It
was at
doesn't
work
help
one
you
night.
either, Marty. What the hell? I thought that was the whole purpose of putting it all around you. Give you a little bit of extra speed when you're going downhill. Son of a gun.
My daughter's 25, and she was at work one night, and an older lady told her, "Oh, you don't know, you don't have any experience with any of this. You're from that participation generation, and blah blah blah." And my daughter said, "Whoa." She goes, "You need to back it up." She goes, "You don't understand. My dad was a boomer." She goes, "I didn't get participation." She goes, "And if I didn't do right, I got my butt tore up. So no, don't even go there." She goes, "You can back it up."
That's
She
right.
goes, "You're 20." She goes, "You're 25. How can your dad be a boomer?" She goes, "He didn't get married till he was 37. He was 40 when I was born."
There you go. Simple
She
as
goes, "My
that.
dad." She goes, "My dad's older than you are." Yeah, she has my attitude.
What are y'all talking about?
Talking about Bailey and
Absolutely,
your attitude.
Thomas.
How'd you get
See,
six scout back?
Thomas got it right there. And yeah, so I grew up with the tail end of that World War II generation. So my grandparents, my uncles, so their brothers, and they were actually my aunt was in the Marine Corps. Uh, she was in D.C. for a while, and then she came out to San Diego and worked during the war. And she was a staff sergeant when she got out after the war. And I've got a lot of pictures of different things from her being in San Diego and particular dances and so on and so forth. And it was really great to see that stuff. Yeah, I agree with what you said, James. Absolutely. Absolutely. And I like to talk about, the greatest generation, the World War II era people. And one thing I think I've told you, my grandfather was in England. He was billeted in one of the local residents' homes, so he lived with some people, and he said it was, it's nice. It was nice to have people to talk to get a, a hot meal and stuff like that. And he would bring certain things to them that they just weren't going to get. but he could get it because he gets, got rations or whatever. And then just listen to the stories about, from other guys who were living with the locals, because they didn't have a lot of shelters, but they would take a couple of military guys and, put them in their house. And he said, I didn't care if I was sleeping on a couch. It certainly beat the ground, but just listen, it was a different time, different era of things going on back then. I just wish I could remember where he was exactly in England before he went over to Normandy, because he landed just a few days after the initial invasion. But yeah, it was a different generation and a different time for sure. But man, I forgot how good this. I forgot how good that stupid Magnolia was in that '95 ride. Hmm.
Yeah, my dad was in World War II. He was in the army
Mm-hmm.
and was part of the forces. They went to North Africa and then went up and liberated Italy.
So I have a uncle. So my grandfather's brother is buried in Anzio.
Hmm.
Yep, he's buried over there. Um, so he was same route, and then into Italy, and he got killed in action in Anzio.
I've got a buddy that worked. We worked at the PD back in Texas together, and he's named after his uncle, and his uncle is buried there also.
Oh, okay.
And my buddy's actually Italian, so he's been back over there and gone to visit where they're buried.
My family, of course, Italian, either Calabrese or Bruzzese, got roots over there. I don't know any of the family over there, but my great grandmother used to travel there quite often, particularly in the '70s and then in the early '80s. And then she just got to the point where she was too old to go. So, but anyway, I want to go back there. I want to go to France. I want to go to Normandy. I want to see some of these places. I just wish I could have done it when my grandfather was alive and taken him, and then go to St. Lo, St. Mary Glise. Um, uh, is it? A huge battle. Was it Schoenberg? It was a huge battle because he was in that, and go to those places and listen to the stories and the memories that came back once he went there. Because there's stuff you just forget until you get there, and all of a sudden, oh yeah, this and that and this and that and this and that. But I'd like to have heard that, and then go to England as a stopover. Where were you here? Where was this? Where was that?
Hmm.
I had another grandfather stationed in Hawaii. So when it got bombed, he enlisted. Even though he was on the East Coast, Parris Island was full, so he became a Hollywood Marine. And then because he was on that side of the coast, it was a few months after Pearl Harbor, they sent him there to start fortifying the island for an invasion. So, but anyway, cheers to our departed veterans. They're all there. If it wasn't for them, especially at that time, who knows what in the heck we'd be doing. So, cheers to our veterans who are departed and still serving. Cheers.
Absolutely. Cheers.
Mm-hmm. So, I said the story about the whiskey that brought me back, the peated whiskey. And it happens to be a High West double rye. And I'm going to highlight myself again on this, and we're going to talk about it here, but this one here. But this was a pick finished in a peated Scotch barrel. So it imparts some of that peated Scotch esque into the whiskey. All right. And like you, I got out of Scotch and I was into this bourbon. In about 2020, you just couldn't find stuff. But when you turned around and looked at the Scotch side, holy crap. There was just so so much, And so I went back into the Scotch world, and I just couldn't get back into peated. So a few failed attempts and sheer disappointment, it's like, oh, this stuff is terrible. Band-Aids and hate. I picked this up and tried it. And this was given to me. So someone else had it. They didn't like it. So this is a High West double rye. And this was finished, 9 months in a peated Scotch barrel. So this had to be 2019, 2020. And so I probably got this in 21. And I had a little snort of it. I can't believe how peaty it smells. But this whiskey is the whiskey that reset my hook for peated Scotch. Now, I haven't touched this in my God, I can't tell you how long. But it's a rye. And it's just the way it was finished. But it was enough that kept me interested, because all of a sudden, and it was a strange thing, I would want this taste. If that makes sense to anybody. I wanted that taste of the peat. It just intrigued me to go. But after failed attempts with Ardbeg and a few others, and everybody's like, oh yeah, they're really heavily peated. And I'm just using that as a general expression. I know it's not, and I understood what they were saying. And like I've said, once I explained the difference between robust and heavily peated, there's a difference. So here we go. Well, then there's this. And on the nose, you know something's different about it. And if you don't know peat, you might not get it. Like in this glass, when I start to originally smell it, I get a little ethanol. It's very light, but I get the rye. I sense a rye. But then there's something about it that's odd. So if you don't know that this is peated, you didn't see this side, and you just know there's something different about it. And you would almost think burned rubber. But it's very faint, but that's kind of what you get. And you're like, what the heck? And as I nose this thing now, I don't get that peat. But when I pull the cork, I haven't popped that cork in a dog's age. I really mean it. Boom, I could smell the peat like that. Like that. I mean, peat, period, end of statement. But here, because there is a chance to evaporate, I get it. But I don't think you would pick it out. You have to search for this. Your nose must be in tune to it. I hope that makes sense to everybody. But I really enjoyed this thing, and let me look at this just for 1 second. It's 50.5 ABV, and I can't read that anymore because it's smeared off. But it is non-chill filtered, no color or flavoring added. So, and it was a release by Total Wine. But man, that peat is nice. Yeah, well, I'm still gonna get you. And I was kind of surprised the Loch Lomond you didn't like. Really? Well, no, I don't think you didn't like it. it wasn't as bad as the others, if I remember right, Josh. It's been a minute since we talked about that. But yeah, this is just so different and unique.
It's interesting. You say you go back and revisit something. I hadn't done that. I hadn't revisited this Sentinel in a while, and now going through the Amarone, the Sauternes, and then the chocolate and everything. Sniffing this, I always hear people talk about rye being minty,
Mm-hmm.
and it's got the faint hint of like when you open up a pack of like double mint gum, the
Mm-hmm.
green Wrigley's gum.
Mm-hmm.
It's just a faint hint of that mint, and it's got the I'm picking up the hint of like a gum note to it.
So you're absolutely right. And I don't always get that note on rye. I don't. However, there is one I pick it up on. Elijah Craig rye, the mint.
I
I
had
don't
not
get it.
had that.
I don't get it on the High West. I don't get it on the E.H. Taylor. I don't get it on the Magnolia. I don't get it on the Mictors. It's just not something I get. But when I drink the Elijah Craig rye, the toasted, either or, big, not so much on the toasted. I think that extra char in the barrel muddles it. But the standard Elijah Craig rye, mint. It's not strong, but it's like you said, it's more in the back, but it's there, and it's like you gotta look for it a little bit. You gotta look for it a little bit, and then oh yeah, there it is, there it is, there it is. But all these I've had, no mint, unless it's the
I had
Elijah.
I had not had this previously that I picked up the mint on it. So I'm wondering if it has something to do with going through three other three other things that were finished per se,
Yeah.
and it made me highlight that because it stood out.
Mm-hmm. See, I don't get it on Wilderness Trail either, James. And I've got a couple of different ones, and I think two of them are picks. I don't get them from the Wilderness Trail, but Elijah Craig, mint, mint, mint. It's not strong or anything like that, but I get mint. Now, I would doubt I'd get it on this one. This is the one that's peated in the ex Scotch barrel. I'm just surprised, as long as I've had this bottle, that it's on the retrohale, and then in the finish, you get a little bit of the peat on it. That it's still it's still an influence on this whiskey. And I will say, I think it's at the point now where I need to consume the rest of the bottle, because I think it's at the point where it's at the precipice of change, to where because you only have so much left in there, and it's time to go through it. I've only had um, a few Japanese whiskey, and I think that there's something about the process that they do with that barley in their whiskey. I think it's done right. I'm glad that you brought that up. Thank you. I don't always go to it, and I'm going to have to look for my couple of, I don't want to say a couple of bottles. I think I only have two or three different ones, and I can't even recall the name off the top of my head, because I'm not that much into them. However, like Nika from the barrel, I'm just going to use that. Yeah, I've had that. That's great. But I don't own that bottle. I'm trying to remember. Oh, Nagahama. Nagahama. It's Nagahama Distillery. Um, I'm trying to remember the couple expressions I got from them, and I can't. But oh my gosh, they're fabulous. they're fabulous whiskeys. I recommend people to start looking at some of these Japanese whiskeys out there. I mean, it's another rabbit hole to go down, just like Irish, just like American single malt, just like American bourbon, just like Scotch. It's a rabbit hole. You just go and go, and then all of a sudden you get caught in that little swirl, and it just sucks you right down. But man, there's some excellent stuff uh, coming out of Japan. And Japan's uh, a huge buyer of whiskey in general, but their whiskey uh, really is something to be reckoned with if you don't know it yet. They're really producing stuff, and then the Mezzanara cask finishes it when they're done right is an exceptional finish on their whiskeys. It really complements the pear flavors on there, in which generally in a whiskey you're not getting pear. You mostly get that note in a Scotch, but the pear, honey on there, floral notes that you get on a Japanese whiskey. That makes me go, hmm. So yeah, I'm going to have to look into some of that a little more. Thank you for bringing that up. I'm glad that you did that, because now that brings it from the back of my head back up to the front there. Old
That's
Scotch.
something I that's something
Okay.
I have not delved into with Japanese whiskey.
It's a rabbit hole, but the milkman, he brought up I'm glad that he did. I'm glad he said that. Thank you again. Yeah, that's, to me, I don't do it justice enough. I have to start looking into a little more Japanese whiskey, because I have found it, like I said, I found it to be quite good, lighter than, let's just say, American whiskey, as in on the palate when you taste it. But it's on the nose, it has a bouquet. On the palate, is light, but give it a chance on the second and third sip and watch the flavor wash. Initially, that first sip, when you're holding it right there between the center of your tongue and the roof of your mouth, you're getting the sweetness. The sweetness is like bing right there, and then you consume it. I don't want to say it's gone, but it is. But then you get that second sip and that third sip, and then all of a sudden that flavor is starting to pop up. You're picking the pear, you're picking the floral, you're picking the honey and jasmine. It's kind of odd. It's odd flavors, but you think of the pollination. And the reason I know this is because I read something up on it. Is the bees, and there are some areas that are so deprived of bees that people are actually going and pollinating these trees and the flowers on the trees, so the trees continue to produce this. So can you imagine somebody going and touching these flowers with a feather or whatever it is they do? I don't know. But anyway, sorry. I'm really going off on a tangent here, but oh yeah, I think Japanese whiskey is very underrated. And took recipes and ideas. Okay. And took it back to shape. Yeah. Well, there you go. Oh, okay. Well, you know what? I think 43 is a nice ABV, particularly on Scotch. I really favor it over 40. I'm sorry, but 46 is my sweet spot on Scotch when it comes to ABV. That's the sweet spot. But I've got some 43s that I think are, they're fabulous. 40s are good. Don't get me wrong, but I, I'm a proofy bitch, so I want a little north. I'm not going to lie, I do. But oh my goodness, yes,
I'm
yes,
with you on that. I like it. I like it at about 46.
yeah. But like I said, I think 46 for me is the sweet spot, 46 and north. So 46, 48, 50, 52 on ABV. Now my foot's going like, when you get up to that 55, 58, 60 ABV. Oh, some of them at that 60 ABV, the viscosity on that scotch, the flavor. And then, though, what I like is the spice that comes back on that finish and grabs your tongue like a rye. It's like, ooh, man. And then, but the thing about it too, some of that stuff, when you get those higher ABVs, boy, they just don't drink like they're 60 ABV in the scotch. They honestly, they just don't drink like that. It's like, holy smokes. They're amazing. And boy, they would just, they'd put you under the table quite quickly. It still uses, oh yeah. Yeah, that's, something about that coal, the old ways, and the way that heats those stills. I'm sorry. I just, there's something about it that I don't think gas fired is it. Although it's not bad, but I think some of those older ways like that, I think that's a lot better. But again, what the heck do I know? What the heck do I know? Yeah, it's an interesting topic. It has a lot of legs. If I ever get into it, I hope you see the thumbnail and come into the chat, or if I have a link up when I do the Japanese, feel free to pop in there if you want, and we can do a deep dive into some of this stuff because I don't know enough about it, but I think there's enough of interest in that particular whiskey to really get into some good conversation, about Japanese whiskey in general. That's just my opinion.
I'll look
Yeah,
forward to that one.
I know. Well, I did a review of that Nagahama. It's been a couple of years, and it was at a great price. And I actually traveled because they didn't have any at the bottle shop I went to here in Vegas. It was just 10 miles the other way, but I had them call the other store, and they're like, "Yeah, we only have two. Then you save them for me." And I went up there and bought them because it was like $45 a bottle. And I tried it there, and oh my gosh, I was like, yeah, I got to have it. I got to have it. And they didn't have it at the store, so they had it another one. So I drove and got it. I need two at $45 a bottle. I was like, oh my gosh, it's very light. It's very light in color, but yet it has so much flavor. It's pale. It's pale. Not what we're used to seeing. And when we see Scotch, it's pale, But this is it was just not something I was used to seeing. But it was nice. It was flavorful. I was like, oh my goodness, wow! And at $45, I think it was a bottle. That was out the door price. I'm like,
Can't
oh
go
my,
wrong with that.
no, no, I'm gonna have to dig it up now because now I'm like, that could be on a forgotten not gone stream. I just got to look for it. I don't know what the heck I've done. Like I said, I've got a backup. Well, I might have finished the first one, so I might have to open the backup. But oh my goodness, it is good.
Well, Anthony, I'm going to dip out. I got a
Yep.
few things I need to go ahead and start taking care of.
Yeah. Well,
But
we're going to get ready to jump over to Livewire because Mike's on, and I might go over there and finish this little dram with him just to say hey to everybody. But I appreciate you jumping on. I appreciate everybody here in chat. Thank you for spending a little bit of time with me, a little over 2 hours. It was great seeing everybody. I appreciate you all. I won't be on next weekend. Heading down to visit Dad and finish up some little projects down there and get that done. But I should be back on the following weekend. I'll let you know. There's a small chance I might not, but it just depends. But like I said, if I can, I'm going to hang out with the parents for a little bit. But anyway, everybody, I appreciate you all. Go over on the live wire. Tell him Bourbon Neophyte sent you. And if he throws you off, I'm sorry. But anyone, everybody, thank you very much. Have a great week. Look forward to seeing you soon. Cheers, everybody. Have a good night.
Cheers. Sláinte, everybody.